You're listening to The Scrimmage with Daniel Hargrove and Justin Domashevitz.
Congratulations!
What are we congratulating?
To Daniel Hargrove.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
On the birth of his new baby boy, baby Klondike. Congratulations to Courtney, his wife, as well. It sounds like she's doing well. Daniel said she was amazing, which is... The baby's name is not Klondike.
I was going to say.
It's been a running show joke for the last couple months. Did we get to the bottom of the origins of it?
Daniel implied that they were thinking heavily about a name starting with K, which apparently, they didn't go with. The baby's name is Beacon. And, but I believe what happened on the show was that he implied that it might be starting with a K, and Justin decided it was Klondike.
I don't remember implying Klondike or where Klondike came from, but I do know that it's a thing that we've been saying regularly. Also, what was that?
You guys are randomly talking about the gold rush.
We were talking about the gold rush? Okay, so Klondike.
I don't remember what order that came in.
The Klondike.
Whether you came up with Klondike or we were talking about that first.
Fun fact, I used to actually give tours of the Klondike when I was a tour guide in Alaska.
Really?
That is fun.
But the Klondike isn't actually in Alaska. It's in the Yukon Territory. It's a region of the Yukon.
It's in the University of Connecticut territory?
Not that Yukon.
Oh.
It's a river, right?
Yeah. It is a river.
Okay.
The Klondike River, it is near Dawson City in the Yukon, it's absolutely beautiful. But I was a tour guide up there.
Okay.
Dawson's Creek is in Dawson City, Justin.
Dawson's Creek is a TV show. And this has been Fun Facts with Shawn.
Fun
and
facts.
If you know
Here
Shawn,
we
by
go.
the way, filling in for Daniel, new father. Daniel, no, not a new father. He's been a father 2 times. This is his 3rd time being a father. But
Old
filling
father.
in, old aged out father.
Aged out Father Daniel.
Filling in for Daniel is our friend Shawn O'Neill, and he's gonna be dropping nuggets of knowledge, like Klondike level nuggets of knowledge, on you this entire show.
If you're lucky.
If you know Shawn personally, you know that he's incredible at nuggets of knowledge. He knows a lot of stuff. So I'm just assuming we're going to get a bunch of those. I didn't know that you were a tour guide in Alaska.
I was a tour guide in Alaska.
And at the University of Connecticut. That's so cool.
Yes, exactly. I was a tour guide at both places. Yeah. They're very different tours. One's all
about basketball. Probably.
As you might imagine. Yes, one's all about basketball. The other's all about oil. Okay. So, yeah. I gave tours of the Alaska pipeline.
Nice.
As part of my,
Okay. So
yeah.
I'm Justin Domashevitz. Shawn O'Neill here with us, as well as trusty producer Andrew Gross. The Scrimmage is brought to you by Spivey Realty Group and the law office of Jeffrey A. Domashevitz, no relation. And
what's the A stand for?
Don't worry about it. I think I do. I mean, I want to get to local sports. Let's see. We got some local sports. It was spring break for most of our schools, if not all of our schools, last week. So there wasn't as much sports as normal, but we do have some local sports, and then we're going to name a Spivey Athlete of the Week. One thing I'm very excited about is to talk some baseball with Shawn. Of course, Shawn's here the day that Daniel's not here, so Daniel doesn't get to have the baseball conversation with Shawn.
Which is probably good.
Yeah, we might get in a fight. No. Actually, this year we might see things mostly the same way, but I don't know. We do definitely have some differing opinions, especially around how much grace you give to young people. And it turns out I was right. Jared Kellenick just sucked.
You know what? We're going to give Shawn all the room he wants to dunk on Daniel for his bad opinions
that was
at all different points in the show. But, yeah, no, I was actually thinking back to I think you've filled in with me when Daniel was gone, maybe once or twice.
Yeah.
And there was one time that we did the show all together.
Yep.
That was I believe, the longest episode of The Scrimmage ever. I think it was almost 3 hours.
Yeah, I'm vaguely remembering that. Yeah. I actually think we've done it, all three of us, twice before.
That sounds
One of them was really, really good. The other one was like mid-COVID, I think, and it was a rougher mindset for me. But I do remember, one very long episode where it was very fun.
We also did the burger review video that never saw the light of day.
Oh, did that never get posted?
Yes.
Never got created.
Daniel, we're still waiting for Daniel to finish that.
But we did all eat some good burgers.
We ate a lot of good burgers. I remember feeling very sick after that.
I think it was mostly like, hey, let's go to all the different places and get burgers, and like, let's just hang out, have a good time together, and talk about burgers and eat burgers.
Did Jeans win? Was that the consensus?
We ended up, I believe.
I thought that Grizzly Den won.
I don't remember if we declared a winner, but I believe that we agreed wholeheartedly that Grizzly Den and Jeans were the two clear best.
Yeah.
I believe I leaned Jeans, and I think you leaned Jeans because they were the only one that seared the burger.
Yeah.
And I felt like the sear on the burger was good. But the burger from Grizzly Den had more like kind of fresh and light ingredients, and the burger from Jeans was a little heavier.
Yeah. I remember also that Daniel
it's wild that you remember those details.
I remember a lot about burgers.
I remember Daniel being distraught because a burger place that shall remain nameless that he loved as a... Oh, there you go. Yeah. I didn't want to throw you guys under the bus.
No,
but,
I have no problem with it. We've talked about it.
But
we're not beholden to Big Burger.
No beholden to Big Burger. All right, that the quality had gone down quite a lot.
I have heard, and this was like 5 years ago. I have heard that the quality of the food at Lighthouse has gotten better.
Oh, well, that's good to hear.
At the time, they had shifted to like the kind of burger that looks like you squeezed it out of a tube, like it was like paste.
Yeah.
It was not good. And then the other one was the Humdinger one. I think we were seeing a contrast there because Humdinger. This is another thing. My wife would be so annoyed that I remember so many things about burgers and I forget like everything else in my whole life. But I remember all these things so vividly. Humdinger, the contrast was like, like the portions are smaller and you don't get as much stuff, but the stuff that you get is really good and it's much more affordable than the others.
So Humdinger is my local like equivalent to In-N-Out. I'm a huge In-N-Out burger fan just because like folks will go on it like, In-N-Out's so overrated, blah, 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 blah. But you cannot find a better burger for $3 in the world than In-N-Out. Like In-N-Out burgers are absolutely delicious. They have got it down to a science where it's good every single time, and their shakes are amazing. And so, love and all that to say, I love Humdinger as well. So.
Yeah, I do. I also like Humdinger, and they have good shakes there.
Yeah,
real good shakes. I think it would be a tough choice for me if I was like, if I go somewhere, it's Jeans, but I live in Monty, so that's kind of that's my go-to. I do like Crow's Nest also, but I lean Jeans a little bit. But Grizzly Den, so good.
Grizzly Den is like, it's more of the Five Guys model of burger. Yeah. So when you eat at the Grizzly Den, you will know that you have eaten. So their signature burger, I think, is called like the Grizzly Burger.
Yeah, it has a really obvious name. I bought one of those and brought it home, and I ate it with a knife and fork.
Yeah,
like I couldn't fit it in my mouth, and I can fit a lot of burger in my mouth. You know, I'm a burger guy.
Yeah. I was just thinking about burgers earlier today, and just the best burgers are actually simple. Like I don't want like avocado and fried egg and pineapple and all these things.
Are you an anti-bacon on burger guy?
No, I'm not anti-bacon. So bacon has a place on a burger. But you know what is useless on a burger? Useless. Tomato.
Oh,
absolutely useless on a burger. It just slides the bun off, and it doesn't.
The skin pulls out. And
the other, and mostly tomatoes in the United States, you don't get them very ripe. They're not good quality tomatoes, and so there's this pithy, underripe, like not rich flavor that goes with tomatoes. They're absolutely useless on a burger.
I like to eat a tomato like an apple. Like, just take bites out of it. It's so good. I love tomatoes.
Yeah, yeah.
And I want all the tomatoes on my burger. I would order double tomatoes on my burger. I
Interesting.
never have, but I would.
And here's the other thing. American cheese. That's what belongs on a burger.
No.
Because it melts better.
No.
It melts better
Then what?
than any other cheese that you put on a burger. Than
But
like
it
cheddar.
tastes
Then
bad.
no, it doesn't. American cheese is delicious.
You're not talking
Like,
about the Kraft singles. You're talking about like real American cheese.
well,
What is-
real American
like-
cheese is pretty much
like
just a
cheddar
block
cheese from
form of
Wisconsin?
no American like Kraft singles,
Yeah.
but
I think we import it from France now.
No, it's only French if it comes from the Kraft singles region of France. But
Fromage.
yeah, Kraft singer.
I think I take umbrage to your melting comment.
And you know what else?
Because if it's cheddar you're talking about, I kind of would give you that because cheddar is really greasy when you melt it.
It is
But
greasy.
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 My wife hates the way I say greasy.
Oh, I've never heard that in my entire life.
I say greasy.
Greasy.
Yeah, I actually think I started saying it regularly because it bothers her.
That's
Doesn't sound
very
like
on
I know
brand.
it doesn't sound like me, but
very on brand.
It's just like
But have you tried Munster? Have you tried Havarti? Like what kind of cheese?
Havarti melts great, but it doesn't have any flavor. So that's the trade-off.
It's Havarti
like,
flavored.
It's like, but Havarti flavor is like nothing, and so
Havarti is an elite melted cheese. Elite.
Havarti.
So is Munster.
I don't not like Havarti.
Okay.
But
I feel like you don't like Havarti.
But
I just hate
on
American cheese.
anytime you're gonna melt something, like it's like nachos. The best nachos are made with Velveeta. Full stop.
You know what my favorite cheese is? And admittedly it's a poor melted cheese. I love Swiss.
Oh, Swiss is delicious.
I buy a block of Swiss, and I just cut chunks of it off and put it in a baggie and pack it in my lunch every day.
Oh yeah, I love
Swiss.
My favorite snack, hands down, is slices of apple, and it has to be super crisp and refrigerated, and cheddar cheese, like sharp cheddar, together. There is no
Sharper
food
the
pairing.
better.
There is no food pairing better than that.
Apples and cheddar.
Apples and cheddar.
You put them in the same bite in your mouth?
Oh yeah, like
yes.
you slice and it's only the same. You slice the apple up into like a chord, slice,
Yeah.
and then you slice the cheese the same size as the apple, and then that as a full
Same shape too?
Oh yeah, if you can do it. So that's why like the
use the
little
corer on the cheese?
the Tillamook mini bricks,
Okay,
if
yeah.
you slice them on if they're the long ways.
Okay, so you're doing triangles. You're doing cheese triangles.
No. Rectangles.
So they're not the same shape as the apple then, because the apples come out.
The apple is like that,
Yeah.
and then it's mostly the same shape. It is
Okay.
rectangular.
So you got real thin apple slices then.
Oh yeah, I'm an expert.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do
I've
you
got
do you
this
take
down.
the corer or do you slice with a knife?
Oh no, I slice with a knife. So you
okay.
slice.
I was picturing
slice.
the coring device that you put over the top of it and just push
No,
down, because
no.
then you definitely have diagonal cuts
Yeah.
on your
No.
apples.
No. So and then you slice them to where that they're almost the same thickness.
Okay.
And man, it is an elite snack.
I have never tried that, but I think it sounds good.
Cheese and apple is one of the peak flavor combinations out there.
It is
it's
so good.
It's really good.
Peak but not popular. Is it a thing people do? Am I just late to the party here?
It is an older thing.
Yeah.
I think maybe people.
Next thing you're going to tell me you like beans and toast, like some kind of wacky
No.
Brit?
I don't understand the beans on toast thing. But back to the cheese and apple thing.
Well, they don't understand
If-
peanut butter and jelly.
Well, yeah. We don't need to get onto. I mean, I love the Brits
Let's
as much.
bash England.
Let's just bash England. But if you go inland Canada, the most popular topping on apple pie is sliced cheddar cheese.
That is insane.
Apple pie and cheese is really, really good.
It's
I had some yesterday.
I went. Yeah, I'm impressed that you
I
had
feel
some
like
yesterday.
I've never heard of this
I
before.
had never heard of it either until I was up there with some friends in eastern British Columbia, and it was just normal to serve cheddar cheese on the apple pie, and I had never heard of it. I thought it was the weirdest thing I ever saw, and they're like, "What? You don't do this?" I'm like, "No, it's ice cream or whipped cream."
Yes.
I'm like, "Here,
A la
try
mode.
this," and you try it. and there's something about the fat in the cheese with the acidity of the apple, and it just works. It's absolutely perfect.
Cheddar is super fatty. That's like one of my favorite go-to meals when I don't have my wife there to prepare it for. She hates this and she thinks it's disgusting because it's so greasy. But I will literally just take. I won't scramble them or anything. I'll just take eggs, break them in a pan, break the yolks, and then just throw whatever I have in with it. Lunch meat, pepperoni, any different kinds of cheese, cut up hot dogs.
That's a very traditional dish.
If you're gonna
but if you do it with cheddar cheese. Like, especially if you're putting in some kind of like pepperoni is a good example. If you're putting in some kind of meat like that, like salami and stuff that carries a lot of grease anyway.
Here's the deal is unless you're going to scramble eggs and make them fluffy, hard cooked yolk is the grossest food on the planet. So
you don't like hard boiled eggs?
No, I can't even be in the same room while they're being peeled.
Have you had the hard boiled eggs that are like perfectly cooked?
I have had.
Are you aware? There's like this method of cooking hard-boiled eggs where you like
where the yolk is still creamy.
Yeah.
Well, I have had that, and it still triggers my gag reflex.
Okay.
But if I fry an egg in a pan, and the yolk breaks and it cooks hard, I throw that egg out.
Daniel,
even at today's prices.
Daniel has jumped into the comments to say, number one, who's this guy? Number two, have I been replaced? The answer to that is Shawn and yes. And then his other question was, can I have your old one?
No.
What is he talking about?
Can you not see what I said there?
No.
Oh, I said new phone, who dis?
And
then he said, can I have your old one?
You know what? I saw the gross boy, and I thought it was little Daniel.
You know, Daniel would only ask Andrew for his phone and no one else because he's the only other one with an Android.
In the world, probably.
In the world.
Little Daniel agrees with you, Shawn. Not sure on what, but one of those things that we were talking about.
Probably about American cheese.
Is American cheese like 40% plastic?
No.
Like, what's the deal with it?
Am
I just doing a Kraft
plastic.
Singles thing? Is that what's happening? Like, I'm not.
So Kraft Singles is mostly milk, but
and plastic.
It
Plastic
has, but it melts perfectly, and it's kind of got that kind of. Yeah, it's its own thing. I agree. But it's delicious. Velveeta.
When I was a child and I didn't know any better, I used to eat Kraft Singles just as a snack.
I still like Kraft Singles
I
as a
dislike the taste of American cheese, but I also don't like the way it melts. It melts but doesn't actually change.
Because it's
so
plastic.
then when it re-solidifies, it's like the exact same... But it's literally like a piece of plastic
the
that
cheese
melts,
should,
that softens.
It's a miracle of physics.
Dripping
is
over
what
the
that
edge.
is.
If you melt the cheese, it should be dripping over the edge and collecting on the sides. That's what Munster does. That's what Havarti does.
Yeah.
Anyway, back to the show.
Well, we're gonna have to do a burger test again.
You know what?
Back to the food show.
Let's schedule it. Should we wait until Daniel's ready to come back from paternity
absolutely,
leave? No, let's do it without him. All right. Well, let's go ahead and dive into the first segment of our show, which is the local sports roundup.
All right.
Whoa!
Huh?
We meant to do that.
That is the sound of the ocean to relax you.
Oh, did you see the photos of the orcas?
The orcas, yeah, at the 28th Street Landing.
Isn't that insane?
That was pretty cool.
That's so cool.
They're transient orcas, and you know how you know that is because they were into the Chehalis River, and we're hunting sea lions.
When I was seeing the pictures
amazing.
of that, my first thought immediately was like, oh my gosh, that's amazing. But I saw other people that were going, oh, look how bad our climate is that we've forced the orcas into this bay.
The bay is warmer than the ocean, and so that's
you know how many people
climate change would not. And this isn't a pro or against climate change thing, but I don't think climate change would force orcas into Grace Harbor.
Yeah.
But, you know, I did once see a gray whale there when Top Foods had the upstairs where you could sit and eat up there. And I saw a gray whale there in the river. It was pretty awesome.
That's insane.
Yeah.
You know, it is. I was in. We're going to get to the local sports roundup in a minute. I was in
I'm ready now.
Astoria, Oregon yesterday. You know, when you go down there and you go over that giant bridge.
Yeah.
And the person that we were visiting there lives pretty much right on the other side, just over there and up the hill.
Mm-hmm.
And he said that in that little stretch of water, they had great white sharks recently.
Oh, really?
Oh,
And then-
Daniel will want to know this.
And then when we drove back, when it was low tide, there was a bunch of land that was about low tide is really low there.
Yeah.
Like I would not have thought that water was deep enough for great whites.
Yeah, there's a lot of sandbars in that area,
Yeah.
and that's a very dangerous waterway. But,
Yeah, I was afraid that as I was driving over the bridge, a great white was going to jump up and try to munch on my car.
that would be quite something.
Yeah. Anyway.
I would like to see great
I
white.
think I saw
someday.
that in Sharknado.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Well, let's round up local
Documentary.
sports.
Okay, ready.
All right.
Hoquiam did all of its scoring in the last 15 minutes in a 3-0 win over Ilwaco on Monday in a boys soccer game. JB Fabian scored 2 unassisted goals and assisted on the Grizzlies' other goal, sending a corner kick to Israel Rosales, who headed the ball into the net. Hoquiam won again on Tuesday at home 4-0 over Chief Leshai. Fabian, Michael Garcia, Zeke James, and Bryce Molina each scored a goal for the Grizzlies. On Thursday, Hoquiam lost at Forks 5-1. Rosales scored the Grizzlies' lone goal, assisted by Fabian.
Elma's boys soccer team earned a 1-0 win over Tenino on
1-0.
Tuesday.
One love.
Jordan Kane scored the match's lone goal, and Trey Yeager recorded his second shutout of the season in goal. On Thursday, Elma won at Chief Leshai 13-0.
That's a lot.
Brian Torres scored 4 goals. Gregory Mendez scored a hat trick and added an assist, and Ivan Rodriguez scored a goal and assisted on 4 others.
I wish I knew if he pronounces it Ivan or Ivan, because I only think of Pudge Rodriguez when I see that name.
Yeah, that's what I.
So I always
immediately
pronounce
thought
it
of.
Ivan, but it could be Ivan. I have no idea. Aberdeen improved to 5-2 this soccer season with a 4-2 win at Shelton on Tuesday. Elmer Torres, Mark Avila, Hebron Garcia, and Ricky Granados each scored a goal for the Bobcats. Granados, Avila, and Riker Scott each dealt 1 assist.
Hoquiam's baseball team lost 13-3 at Rochester on Tuesday. Ethan Bryan went 2 for 2 for the Grizzlies with 1 home run and 1 RBI. Joey Bozich hit a double and scored a run.
Aberdeen lost its baseball league opener 11-1 at home against Shelton on Tuesday. Bubba Jones, or Gregory I think is what he goes by now, hit a triple and scored the Bobcats' only run, and Aiden Baker hit a double. Aberdeen bounced back with a 4-3 win at Shelton on Wednesday. Gabe Matthews scored the game-winning run in the 9th inning when Jones drew a bases-loaded walk. Jones went 2 for 4 with 2 RBI. Trevin Maynard also recorded 2 hits for Aberdeen.
Hoquiam's softball team dropped to 0-5 on the season with a 12-0 loss at Rochester on Monday. Aaliyah Kennedy recorded the Grizzlies' only hit. On Thursday, Hoquiam hosted Rochester and lost again 22-13. Haley Burgess went 4 for 4 for the Grizzlies with 2 dingers and 4 RBI. Maya Stanseifer also went 4 for 4, hitting a double, scoring 2 runs, and driving in 2.
Aberdeen softball pardon me. Aberdeen softball team remained undefeated with a 10-0 home win over Shelton on Wednesday. Lily Camp pitched all 5 innings for the Bobcats, allowing 2 hits and striking out 12 batters, while
Holy
also
smokes.
going 2 for 3 at the dish with a home run and 3 RBI. Alyssa Yakovich went 3 for 3 with a double, 2 RBI, and Mason Jones hit 2 doubles, scored once, and drove in 2 runs. Aberdeen won again on Friday, 18-1 at home against Hoquiam. Camp pitched 3 perfect innings with 8 Ks before being replaced by Mason Jones, who pitched the final 2 innings and went 4 for 4 with a double, a run, and an RBI. Yakovich and Madison Baker added 2 hits apiece for the Bobcats.
Raymond South Bend's softball team swept a doubleheader against Ilwaco, 7-4 and 20-6 on Tuesday in South Bend. In the opener, Summer Stigall and Ava Pine each recorded 2 hits for the Ravens, and Emma Glazier hit a 3-run homer. In the nightcap, Pine went 4 for 4 in the game with a homer, 3 doubles, 2 runs, and 4 RSBI. Macy Enlow went 3 for 4 with a homer, 2 doubles, 2 runs scored, and 4 driven in. Maddie San also went yard for RSB, and Cassie Koski finished a homer shy of the cycle with 3 runs and an RBI.
PL Willapa Valley dropped a road softball game 19-5 against Adna on Monday. Sophia Milanowski hit a 2-run home run for the Titans and finished the game 2 for 3 with 3 RSBI.
And Aberdeen girls golf team beat Shelton 69, nice, to 38 on Monday at Highland Golf Course using the Stableford scoring system. Bobcat freshman Kennedy Kolodzi,
It's
Kolodzi led all players with 21 points. Presley Stone, Harnor Jandu, and Trinity Stone also scored in double figures for Aberdeen.
And that will conclude the local sports roundup.
There's some really good softball happening around.
Dude, Grace Harbor County softball
Powerhouse.
Yeah.
Statewide powerhouse. I guess if you look over the last 2 decades, it's Monty.
Yeah.
But Elma has had some great teams.
Yeah.
Oakwim has had some great teams. Aberdeen's had some really good teams. Aberdeen's at its peak right now. Like the last three or so years of Aberdeen softball has been absolutely amazing. So
they've got some incredible players. That's really something.
Yes, and I mean Lily Camp is committed to play softball at GCU, I believe.
Okay.
They had another pitcher last year named Annika Hollingsworth, who I think went to Loyola Marymount.
Oh wow.
To play. Like we got girls locally going to play Division I softball. Grace Harbor County and softball are just synonymous. Like there's not a lot of sports that locally we compete really consistently at the state trophy level, and softball we're in the conversation every year.
I mean, when I was in high school, it was a Knowledge Bowl. We were pretty much powerhouses perennial. No, just kidding.
I mean, Monty has some pretty good Knowledge Bowl teams right now.
That's what I hear.
My nephew is on one of them.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's really cool. And committed GCU. What percentage of GCU is from Grays Harbor?
I mean, just Monty High School
is
alone.
Unbelievable how many Grays Harbor folks and Grays Harbor folks like on staff at GCU now. Like I know of 2 at least, maybe 3. So yeah, it's quite the Grays Harbor connection.
I mean, friend of the show, Braden Dorman.
Yeah.
He's a GCU alum, and I think he's back working in their sports communications department, I think. Yeah.
Yep. And Livy Cartwright is also at GCU alum and is on staff at GCU. So there's quite the representation from Grays Harbor down there in the Valley of the Sun.
I mean, it'd be Lily Camp from Aberdeen she's got to be one of the best softball prospects we've had for sure. She's really good.
That's awesome.
So I'm really excited to see what she'll be able to do at the next level as well. I don't think there's too much else to really discuss from this. It's there was a good amount of each sport, but it was kind of a light week. Probably about half the length of the local sports roundup from last week. So
yeah,
thank you.
We do have some. Andrew, you did a great job, even though I kind of stepped on you a couple times.
I've got to give it though to Grays Harbor baseball and softball players. This is a tough place to play weather-wise at the beginning of the season.
Lots of the ocean layer.
It is the marine layer plus, and it is just like you never know if you're going to play or if the game's going to get canceled. It is really a difficult sport to invest into, and so props to everyone investing into baseball and softball because
I mean, they even like at the early on in the season, some of the other schools were playing home games at Monty's Field because the weather was so bad, and it's the only turf field I think in the county.
You can't rain out the turf games.
Yeah. By the way, you've been accused of being an American cheese apologist.
That was
by
me.
Andrew.
That's all right. I am an American cheese apologist,
Daniel my brother was clarifying that he was agreeing on the badly cooked eggs, but he had got confused and thought that you didn't like American cheese. So
love American cheese. And
what did he say about the badly cooked eggs?
hate badly cooked eggs.
He says that he agreed on the badly cooked eggs, and
With me or with Shawn?
with you weren't talking about badly cooked eggs.
Well, I was talking about how I cook eggs poorly, and Shawn took exception to it, I think.
Yeah. Yes.
So which one of
So
us
he
did
was
he agree?
agreeing with
Daniel,
Shawn on that.
little Daniel, please clarify. I'm not going to be able to move on, as evidenced by what happened with root beer the other day. A recent show. A really hard time letting things go. So yeah, I think that'll probably conclude this segment of the show. In the next segment, we have a list of 5 nominees for Athlete of the Week, unless one of you guys wanted to add another one to that. So before we do that, we will take a quick commercial break. Do you have a legal situation and need someone on your side? Let the law office of Jeffrey A. Damashevitz be your advocate. If you've been the victim of medical malpractice, suffered a personal injury, or need representation with real estate law, small business law, or estate planning, let Jeff Damashevitz put his 29 years of experience to work for you. Call Jeff Damashevitz today at 360-612-3991 or visit damashevitzlaw.com. That's DAMASIEWICZLAW.com.
Who's Gojo Frolf?
That's Francis. Yeah.
Enemy of the show.
By the way, if you're only listening on audio, did Daniel made that commercial, right, Andrew?
Yeah, I
think
believe
he
so.
just because the law office of Jeffrey A. Damashevitz doesn't really have much of a social media presence or anything. So I think Daniel just went to the website and took screen grabs and then artistically made them move across for the video portion of that commercial.
That's
so
awesome.
Shout out to Daniel for the job he did.
Way
on that.
to go, Daniel.
Also, that commercial says 29 years of experience, and that was 3 years ago. So
Somebody
it's-
should re-record that.
That's
thing.
why sometimes when I say 30 plus in the background, because that sounds like more.
There's a good reason that 30 plus sounds like more than 29.
Yeah,
Math is
Weird.
the reason.
math is difficult.
Yes.
Francis asked if I was okay. I have no idea what that's in reference to.
Well, he was saying somebody needs to check on Chase Ferrier,
Yeah.
who is a Duke fan, right?
Yeah.
And then he said, "Is Justin okay?" Francis, Justin is high as a kite on pure Schadenfreude.
I thought it was Schadenfreude.
Schadenfreude?
I also don't know what it means.
It means
I
taking
don't speak
pleasure
German.
from other people's misfortune.
Oh, I do
think.
that
Yeah.
a lot.
Yeah.
I do that so hard.
Justin is the face of Schadenfreude.
Actually, I will own that, honestly, because I had a good friend of mine who follows college basketball very closely, who I used to work with, and he correctly pointed out to me one time, man, you really have a sadistic nature of just enjoying when other fan bases are hurting that you don't like. And I'm like, yeah. And he was like, you might enjoy watching other fan bases that you don't like suffer more than you enjoy your own team's victories. And I was like, yeah. kind of good
Yeah.
with it.
The thing that I've noticed about watching teams that I am rooting against, there's much less potential downside. When you're watching a team that you love, you really don't want them to lose. When you're watching a team that you hate, you can enjoy every bad thing that happens, and if they win, you're like, whatever, I don't care about this game anyway.
Not when I watch Oregon. Absolutely not.
Okay.
I am fully invested in the destruction of Oregon football when I watch them play.
Literal physical destruction?
I mean, not
Metaphorical.
Metaphorical destruction.
Symbolic
And
destruction.
spiritual eternal
Yes.
destruction.
Emotional destruction.
Yes.
Yeah.
If they pan Autzen Stadium and Ducks fans have tears coming down their eyes
Yeah.
and not tears of joy, nothing makes me happier.
It was actually the reason that my friend had noticed that particular thing about me was because I was watching, I think it was when Villanova lost one year in the tournament, and I was watching a literal child cry on the TV and just cackling at him.
That might be a little.
It was like a 12-year-old kid.
Yeah, you might need to. You might need some therapy for that.
I'll pray about it.
We were having a very fun discussion before this, though. Like, who's the more annoying fan base? Is it Duke basketball or Oregon football? I say it's Oregon football 100%.
Well, your point was that it's unearned. So this is actually, to be honest, if you even go to like just a North Carolina perspective of this, some people that are deep in it will say, I actually find NC State fans way more annoying than Duke fans.
Is that the Wolfpack?
Yeah. Because at least Duke has earned its prestige. NC State feels like it's something when they're not. And I don't know if I argued with Daniel.
Didn't Russell
about this,
Wilson go to NC State?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, his best year was at Wisconsin, though.
Yeah.
Daniel has this like real little brother thing because he's an Oregon State Wazoo guy. So like sometimes when we have this conversation, he really takes exception to it. But NC State is like, the ugly stepbrother of North Carolina, and Duke is at the very least, it's the handsome stepbrother who probably just fails and chokes in clutch situations.
I mean, word on the street is that might have happened.
Yeah, it did.
Yesterday.
Yeah.
Last night.
So your general premise of Oregon as like, you haven't earned any of this elitism.
Anything.
Yeah.
They're spending daddy's money. It's like they're drunk off of daddy's money, and they think for some...
Is Phil Knight daddy?
Yes.
Okay.
Phil Knight is like daddy, sugar daddy. I mean...
That's the title of this episode.
All
Phil
of
Knight,
those
sugar daddy.
things. And it's... But not only... They don't even have the respect of their opponents to admit that they are off getting off on daddy's money. It's like they wholeheartedly believe that they have earned this space in the echelon of college football. It is the most annoying thing, I think, in all of sports, is Oregon Ducks fandom.
How satisfying was it for you this past football season to watch them fail so spectacularly once the college football playoff started?
Always. Yeah. Like, yes. Like I said, I don't, and I might need, as I spoke to you about therapy, I may need therapy about this myself, but I've often said that I don't love any other team as much as I hate Oregon.
You should pray about it.
Yeah, it's sad. I understand, but they are the most annoying fan base.
The reason that Francis was checking on asking if you were okay, Justin, is because he remembers you as wearing a Duke shirt.
I'm just not that easily bothered, and Francis just knows how to push the button that's just gonna piss me off.
Why did you wear a Duke shirt?
It was I lost a bet.
Oh.
And I had to wear a Duke shirt on the show. You don't know that so Francis and I work together, okay?
Yeah.
So Francis took then screenshots of me wearing the Duke shirt and put them up all over the place on the walls where we work, and put them on the back of his clipboard so that he could show everybody, look, this is Justin wearing a Duke shirt.
How is O'Neill with the Beavs? I've got zero problem with the Beavers. Like, okay. Yeah.
He spelled O'Neill wrong, though.
That's all right. Yeah, bringing back some childhood trauma of me getting called Shaq O'Neal on the basketball court because I was so bad. Like.
Shaq was really good, though.
Exactly. That therein lies the irony of people like, oh, that's pretty good there, Shaq. And yes, I am literally the worst basketball player that I know, which is pretty sad. But yeah, don't have any problem with the Bees.
I'm
but speaking
the best
of
basketball player in this room.
It's probably true.
No, it's definitely true.
I take pride in my ability to annoy Justin when playing basketball. That's literally all I can do, but I figured that if I can annoy Justin, I must be doing something okay.
Andrew's really good at playing basketball like it's rugby. Like just running around and smashing into people and being strong.
I think I remember that's how Andrew also played Ultimate Frisbee.
Yeah, he kind of was that. Yeah,
that sounds right.
All right. Well, let's run through the list of Spivey Athlete of the Week nominees, and then we will pick one. Haley Burgess, first of all, for Hoke Williams softball. She went 4 for 4. This was in a loss to Rochester, and sometimes it being in a loss hurts you a little bit. But she went 4 for 4 with 2 home runs and 4 RSBI. So that was a big deal. How does it bother you that we say RSBI, or are you just kind of numb to it at this point?
I mean, it doesn't bother me, but I do believe that it's incorrect.
We do it intentionally, obnoxiously.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which is fine.
Okay. Hunter,
I just do it because it's obviously correct.
Well, it obviously should be correct, but it is not correct according to the style guides.
Yeah. Well, you're talking about like a
That
AP style guide.
Yeah,
that
or
kinda-
Chicago
I
style
really
guide.
like
yeah.
that argument. That argument is a really good argument. And the only response I have to it is that I have never had to abide by any style guides.
There you go. That's why I'm not annoyed.
When I was a slave to the AP style guide, when I was a newspaper reporter, I wrote RBIs correctly. Mm-hmm. But now I say RSBI because I'm an obnoxious person.
So I think it's just RBI. Like,
You wouldn't say RBIs. You would just say RBI.
you'd say
Yeah.
RBI.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
The S is implied between the R and the B. But anyway, go back to the real business of honoring our local athletes.
So then we have Kennedy Kolodzi from Aberdeen Girls Golf, who was the top scorer in a 69-38 win over Shelton with 21 points. Now this is interesting because it's not like they did a 9 holes, but they didn't do standard scoring. They used the Stableford scoring system, which is like
Never heard of that before in my
it's
life.
something like instead of being under or over par, it's like you get 5 points for an eagle, 4 points for a birdie, 3 points for something like that, where like you get assigned points based on how you do on the hole.
Interesting.
I'd
get 0 points.
Yeah, me too. I have no idea why it's different or better or worse than regular scoring.
I think I still have the course record for the highest score ever at Dungeness Golf Club in Squim for the Jim Hargrove tournament.
I played in that one time.
I think you and I might have been on the same team.
I think I got least best golfer that day.
Did you? Well, it wasn't the year I got like a 197.
No, I shot like a 160 something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was bad.
But actually, I remember being told a couple times, because they had a stroke limit. Like, they were like, "Hey, last year Shawn was so bad, we have to implement a stroke limit."
So
I think it was like 10 strokes a hole.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Maybe
10
it was 12.
No, I think it was 10.
But there was a couple times that I
180.
had to pick up my ball because
Yeah.
it was like, no, you exceeded your limit on this hole.
That
Yeah.
was that like before you had played golf at all, Justin? Because
No.
oh, it wasn't? Okay.
No, but to be
I was
fair,
going to say, I feel like you've golfed more in the last 5 years than you did.
if you go back 5
Before
years,
that.
if you go back 5 years, I probably golfed more in a 5-year stretch than I had the rest of my entire life. But I actually haven't golfed now in several years.
Oh.
Andrew,
Me
did
either.
you golf with me at Highlands in that scramble with Clarence that one time?
I did.
That's the last time I golfed.
Oh.
That was pre-COVID, I think.
I don't know if I've golfed since then either.
Yeah, I want to. I miss it. I'm terrible, and I think that's one thing is you just have to come to grips with the fact that you're terrible when you're terrible, and just enjoy yourself.
I am. Yeah, it's so bad. Like,
And laugh at Daniel when he's on that hole at Highlands when he just shanks it off to the right every time. Because something about it bothers him mentally. Daniel's a good golfer.
yeah.
Isn't that 12?
Is
I
it
think
12?
It's 12.
There's one where it's like it's way
The
up high,
long
and
one
there's
along the top of
the
hill.
and there's a bunch of trees off to the right, and he'll just stand there and just shank like 5 balls into the trees.
Speaking of golf, is like the
hope he's
Masters.
listening.
Is it for how many people are we on right now?
5.
Oh, 5. So, bucket list, sporting events, Masters is like number 2 for me.
What's number 1?
Watching the Mariners in the World Series.
Oh, so that you'll never get that. So
Right.
Masters is number 1 for you.
Masters is the
Brutal.
de facto number 1,
Okay.
but it just looks like an incredible time.
So we also have Lily Camp. I
Apologies to all these amazing athletes.
This is actually so typical.
Oh,
This is
okay,
what we
that's
do
good.
every week, so you're good. Lily Camp from Aberdeen softball, and she was the athlete of the week a couple weeks ago. She's on this list every week. She had a 5-inning, 2-hit shutout with 12 strikeouts against Shelton.
That's insane.
And then I actually like some clarification on the game against Hoquiam because Aberdeen won 8-1, and from what I could tell from the box score, she pitched 3 perfect innings with 8 strikeouts. And I don't know why you pull a pitcher when they're on a quest for a perfect game.
Workload, maybe she'd been pitching too much.
It's possible, but softball's really different from baseball. Like they kind of let their pitchers go because the motion isn't as hard on your shoulder, and your elbow. But
that makes sense.
I'd be curious to hear clarification on why she ended up coming out, or maybe I read the box score wrong. And like maybe she had a hit batter or something.
Yeah.
But there was no walks, no hits. It looked like she faced the minimum amount of batters. And I feel like typically, especially it's a rivalry game. It's against Hoquiam.
Yeah.
Typically, I'd say if you have a perfect pitcher through 3, you let him ride it out.
I was going to say that level of dominance on both sides, pitching and hitting, reminds me of a certain softball player.
Me?
Well, I mean, maybe. Did you pitch? You didn't pitch.
Only several years later when there was no one else who wanted to do it.
Anyway, Lily Camp,
But it was Shawn's Triple Crown is what he was leading to.
I mean, I had to bring that in somehow. My Triple Crown season is like the peak of my athletic career.
What year was that?
Oh, it must have been about 2004, 2005, somewhere around there. Yeah. I think I bat like 961.
Shawn was that's glory days.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Shawn was dangerous in church league softball.
Absolutely, dangerous. And was the closer behind your dad. Yeah. So yeah, it was very fun.
The boss actually is what we used to call him. That was his nickname in church. It was on his sweatpants.
Yeah,
Bruce Springsteen.
Yep,
the boss.
Maybe the most overrated singer of the last 50 years, but not your dad, Bruce Springsteen.
My dad's not an overrated singer because he's not a rated singer. Just not a singer at all. He was a good softball player, though.
He was a good softball player.
Back in his day. He's aged out now, but
so have I.
Just like Daniel Hargrove. But Lily Camp, and then the last one I think is really interesting. This is a 10-year-old gymnast / tumbler from Zero Gravity, Timber Winkleman. She was one of our honorable mentions a couple of weeks ago for, I think it was regional, whatever comes before state. She had 3 golds. She's been pretty much getting golds all year. And she went to the state tournament and qualified for nationals by getting gold in all 3 of her events. So maximum winning for Timber Winkleman of Zero Gravity.
Way to go.
It's really impressive. We have awesome. A slate of 5 here. Haley Burgess, Hoquiam Softball, Hunter Isley, Pierce College. Hey, it'd be helpful. You know what? Real quick, I'm going to try Googling. So I went and looked at the NWAC scoreboard for baseball because I wanted to find Hunter Isley's stat line from that game because he's a Aberdeen grad who went to Pierce College, and then in his return to face Grays Harbor, he pitched really well. I want to say I was told he got through 6 innings scoreless, and I'm on the scoreboard now. Okay, Pierce College at Grays Harbor County. Pierce won 21-0. But in the box score, okay, it is updated now. Okay, so Hunter pitched 6 innings, allowed 2 hits, and struck out 9 batters to get the win against Grays Harbor College, and then they brought in a closer to pitch the last inning. But 6 innings pitched with only 2 hits allowed and 9 strikeouts.
That's a good outing.
That's a really solid outing for Hunter Isley. So I know it's tough to sometimes pick people from these lists, but I guess, Andrew, did you have an inclination one way or the other?
Not really. I've been distracted trying to fix stuff here.
Okay. I think
obviously I'm a Lily Camp fan.
Yeah. Well, and she's awesome. Like all the time. There's a reason why she's on the list every single week. But I was kind of vacillating back and forth between Lily Camp and Timber Winkleman because I think with Timber, she did make our honorable mentions list a couple weeks ago with her performance before this. And
that's an escalator.
That is an escalator. And then 3 state-level gold medals.
That is pretty cool.
Is pretty gosh darn cool.
Yeah.
And we don't typically with Lily, sometimes we fall into the trap of like, well, we're going to name that person Athlete of the Week at some point, and I don't like doing that. But we did just name her Athlete of the Week 2 weeks ago.
That's a de-escalator.
A little bit, but it has nothing to do with her performance. It's just that. So it kind of balances things out a little bit. Shawn, did you have thoughts on this?
I think anytime you take 3 gold medals at one competition, that's pretty impressive. So I would lean towards the 3 gold medals, not taking anything away from any of the previous participants, but that is pretty impressive.
I agree. So I think we have the votes. Andrew is going to protest because he wants the Bobcat.
I'm not protesting.
Andrew hates Timber Winkleman.
I didn't say that.
Just kidding.
I am also a Bobcat, so
yeah.
Class of 97.
Well, the thing with Andrew is not that he feels strongly about any of these things, but sometimes when Daniel and I disagree, and it's between like anybody and a Bobcat, we know that when we throw the tie-breaking vote to Andrew, he's gonna just pick a Bobcat. And if there's no Bobcat in it, he'll pick an Elma Eagle because he's an Elma Eagle now by proxy.
There we go.
Unless there is a Mary M. Night Owl.
I was going to say, aren't you closer to Matlock out here?
Yeah. Yes.
Or...
Well, we're in Elma, but we're also very close to the Mary M. Night.
Yes, but you also have to leave Grays Harbor County and then re-enter Grays Harbor County to get here. And also, one thing we don't talk about very often is that you actually have to hike like a half an hour. Like once we park at the spot where we get to Andrew's house, there's a hiking trail. So Shawn, I think, did this for the second time. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Daniel and I do this every single week. We get out here and there's a half-hour hike to Andrew's house once we park.
Last time I was out here, it was literally 102 degrees.
Yeah.
It was
so it took
really
us longer
hot.
that day, I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was, yeah.
We had to pack canteens just to make sure we stayed hydrated.
Today it is not quite 102. It's more through the snow, uphill both ways.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, I get that.
The snow lingers out here a little longer than it does elsewhere.
It actually does.
It's true. Okay, so I think we've agreed. Even though Andrew is a Bobcat, we're gonna go with from zero gravity, tumbling, and gymnastics. Timber Winkleman of Montesano.
Way to go, Timber!
Our Spivey Athlete of the Week for maximum winning. 3 gold medals at the state competition. Great job, Timber.
Nicely done.
Okay, so we have 1 2-minute drill question.
Yeah,
and also a Stump Shawn.
Okay.
Which is going to be really fun.
We don't actually have to do the 2-minute drill. You could just ask Shawn the question.
No, I want to do it in 2-minute drill style.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
I want to. And there'll just be one question, then we'll move on.
All right.
Okay. But before we do that, we need to take our last commercial break.
Spivey Realty Group's goal is to make buying, selling, investing, and renting real estate in Grays Harbor simple. They believe in 100% transparency and unparalleled communication with local expertise, tech-enhanced, and top-notch service for their friends, neighbors, and community. Their goal is simple: get a group of strong-willed, hard-working people together who want to make a difference in Grays Harbor and to use real estate as the means of achieving that. Voted Grays Harbor's best real estate company. Find them on Facebook or visit graysharborrealestate.com. Spivey Realty Group, elevating small town real estate.
And welcome back to the Scrimmage. I'm Justin Damashevitz with my fill-in co-host Shawn O'Neill and our trusty producer Andrew Gross. We are brought to you by Spivey Realty Group and the law office of Jeffrey A. Damashevitz. Thank you to our sponsors for helping us bring you this show.
Thanks.
And I'm trying to understand the comments that are happening here because I feel like Francis kind of went spam here. What is Mariah Carey would like a word, O'Neill?
That's because I said that Bruce Springsteen was the most overrated, and he's saying Mariah Carey is the most overrated. That's a false comparison because Bruce Springsteen is like held up as like this artistic, vanguard, And I just think he's
and
he's
Mariah Carey's just the Christmas singer.
yeah,
Like, she's good.
It's
She's
like
fine.
like Mariah Carey just prints cash. No one is saying that Mariah Carey
She's
is
not
like
Whitney Houston.
No,
Like, what are we
she's
doing
not
here?
Whitney Houston. She's not Ella Fitzgerald. so
come
you
on.
can call her overrated, but that doesn't even put her in the same argument as Bruce Springsteen.
I just think
It's like
Mariah Carey, Christmas, Michael Bublé. Like, what are we doing here? Who's holding up Mariah Carey as some kind of a amazing vocalist?
or artist.
Or
like,
artist.
Yeah. I mean, Mariah's got like that 5-octave range, so she's kind of well known for that, and she's got good pitch. But Bruce
She plays
Springsteen-
baseball?
She maybe, I don't know.
You said good pitch.
Well, she doesn't pitch well, but she's got
Oh.
good pitch.
Okay.
Yes.
Interesting.
Justin, those questions would make a lot more sense coming from me. You know music things. You're married to Angel.
Also,
and
I'm a
you know
drummer now.
music things.
Are
I'm
you
a drummer.
Yeah, he's a drummer.
I
When
have
did that happen?
probably
Last
roughly 120 minutes of experience drumming.
Are you like drumming on the worship team?
Oh,
Sure?
no.
Oh.
No, I'm way too good for that. I'm getting ready to go on tour.
Yeah.
Actually, really, the thing that I focused on the most is looking cool.
Oh, yeah. That's really important when you're a drummer. Can
think
you do
so.
like the flippy thing with the drumstick?
Not while I'm playing.
Oh. I do flippy things with drumsticks, but it's usually on the way to my mouth with a chicken drumstick because it's greasy, and I've had so many that my hands are completely covered in oil.
Yeah.
So anyway,
Understandable.
but, yeah.
I focused on. I wore a backwards hat
there you
and
go.
sunglasses.
Oh, okay.
He did wear a shirt though.
Yeah, I don't think I would look cooler without a shirt. Like, certain people might look cooler without a shirt. I'm not in that category.
Yeah.
What is the comment that says either way Andrew is the, what does it say?
In the nest.
I don't know what that means.
Oh, like eagles?
I assume so. Or
Okay.
owls. I assume he's saying eagles or owls.
Oh, this is the Eagle's Nest out here? Is
Yeah.
that where?
I don't know.
Isn't there a...
It's
Isn't
always
that-
best to ignore
That's like
Francis's-
Hitler's house. I don't know if you want to call it the Eagle's Nest. Like, that was the name of, the home of one Adolf Hitler.
Adolf Hitler
Well,
lived in
you know
Elma?
what? The Duke Blue Devils play in, what do they call it?
Well, the
Cameron Indoor.
Well, the basketball stadium is called Cameron Indoor, but the Devil's Lair is like
Yes.
their...
Student section.
I don't remember if it's a student section or something is the Devil's Lair.
I drove like 100 miles out of my way once just to take a selfie at Cameron Indoor to send to Justin Tomaszewicz.
And remarkably, we're still friends.
Yeah. And literally, like, it changed an entire vacation to go take a picture at Cameron Indoor.
I'm glad that I mean that much to you.
It
And
was-
honestly, Sean, if you had taken that much time out of your day to do something that I would have liked, I would think less of you.
I know. That's
The fact that you did it to bother me makes it so much more meaningful.
exactly. It's yeah, and
It's like that video. I don't know if this. Maybe I'm a little bit too much in Instagram Reels, but there's a video that has popped up in mine a lot. That's like, this is how men interact, and it's men like playing a video game together.
Yeah.
And they're on the headphones, and the one guy's like, "Hey, if I was going through something, would you guys support me?" And then everyone's like, "No." Actually, we hope that the thing you're going through is horrible, and then they're just laughing at each other.
Yeah,
That's how we should be relating to each other.
exactly. I 100% concur.
Well, I do want to talk some Mariners, and maybe, I don't know if there's time. Chase isn't on, so it doesn't feel quite as worth it to talk about Duke's absolute massive choke job.
You need to tell me about it though, because I don't think Sean or I even watched it. So
Okay, so we're going to do 2-minute drill in a minute, and then we're going to go to baseball talk. But and this isn't going to take very long. But I was delighting in the Duke game yesterday because I had actually they controlled the whole game against Houston for the most point until like 8 minutes left. They were up by double digits almost the whole game. They were clearly the better team. Most people had pretty much agreed they're the best team in the country. They're probably going to win the title. I was resigned to the fact that it was probably going to happen. And then they had a 14-point lead with roughly 8 minutes left. They had a 7-point lead with 1 minute left. They had a 6-point lead with 42 seconds left.
Wow.
They had a 3-point lead and the ball with 30 seconds left. Then they turned it over on the inbound. Then they had, with a 1-point lead and 20 seconds left, they were shooting a 1-and-1. So at the very least, you have a guard at the line shooting a 1-and-1. You hit both of them, you still have a 3-point lead. They missed the front end of the 1-and-1. Despite all that choking, they still had the ball. They had the ball down 1 with 19 seconds left. Cooper Flagg, their best player in the country, trying to go get something done at the buzzer, bricks a shot so bad off the front rim, like never had a chance.
Daniel's calling in.
Hi, Daniel.
Hey, Daniel.
Was it the Duke thing that really got you, or why can't we hear him?
Hold on.
Put it on speaker.
You'll have to repeat yourself, Daniel.
Oh, I thought you could bring me up on the computer. My bad.
What? No, you... No. Sorry.
You could Skype in.
I could try.
You could zoom in.
You would need to tell me you were calling like 10 or 15 minutes beforehand.
Daniel has mommy brain right now.
He looks like mommy brain right now.
To you. Alright, I just wanted to say hi and that, everything went well, but I'll let you guys do the show. You want to say hi?
Tell baby. Oh, who's that? Is that Veda?
Hi.
Hi. Tell baby Klondike we said hi too. Hi, Anchor.
Hey.
Alright, see you guys later.
Tell Klondike hi for me.
No, not Klondike.
Okay.
Whenever I hear that, I just always think about what would you do for a Klondike bar?
Yeah. Agreed.
Which I love Klondike bars.
Yeah, they're good.
Yeah, they're so
very
good.
good.
Like the chocolatey coating, so good.
They make a Reese's one.
Oh,
Yeah.
that might get too busy. Like does it?
It's a very thin layer of
Oh,
a peanut butter
interesting.
flavor.
Okay.
So I
All
think
right.
they did a pretty good job with it.
All right,
It's
I might
been a while
have to give
since
that.
I had one. But
Might
they're
have to
pretty
give that a
good.
try.
Yeah. Where were we?
We're talking about how bad Duke sucked
Oh, yeah.
last night.
So that was really.
I think you left off at Cooper Flagg bricking it.
And so badly. Like, this is your national player of the year, best player in the country, unanimous #1 pick. Even though they spent 10 minutes, over the last 10 minutes of the game, they made one shot from the field. And then also, on top of that, they got hosed really bad by a bad call. They called a foul on Cooper Flagg on a rebound attempt on a free throw that I would have said as a play on. I guess I kind of get why the official might have called it, because he did sort of hit the arm of the player in front of him. But I think pretty well the internet agrees it was a bad call. So not only do they have no one to blame but themselves for choking so hard over the course of 10 minutes.
Except for the referee you just talked about.
And at the very end, then they also try to blame the referee. So it's like, you guys sold the game, but then you also try to blame the referee. So I get the best of both worlds, because #1, they were terrible and lost the game, and now I get to call them babies for trying to blame the referees for their loss. Because even if that foul hadn't been called, Houston got the rebound anyway, and Duke hadn't been stopping Houston. They probably would have scored again.
Yeah.
So, yes, I did enjoy that in a very maniacal way. Do either of you have opinions on that?
I don't have the hatred for Duke that you have, and so I
Imagine it happened to Oregon.
probably would have loved it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have been a huge Houston fan for about 2 weeks now, ever since I picked them to win the championship.
Yeah.
That's all I have to say about
Well,
it, though.
the thing that's important to say about that is we didn't do a huge bracket challenge this year.
There is no stakes.
Yeah.
If I win, it will be because it was the year with 0 stakes.
Usually we've had like 40 or 50 people in our bracket challenge because we offer some kind of prize.
Yeah.
This year we threw it in at the last minute and didn't really offer anything. So we have, I think, 17 people or so in our bracket group. But if Houston wins the title game tomorrow, Andrew will win our bracket challenge, which would be the funniest possible outcome.
It would be going from roughly last place to winning instantly.
Worst to first, baby.
Yeah. Well, I think we don't need to dwell on March. We talked a decent amount about March Madness before, and right now we're down to the title game, which is the point when a lot of people lose interest. So I don't think we need to dwell on it. I do want to talk some baseball, so let's go ahead and kick off the 2-minute drill with only one question.
Let's go, hurry up! Gotta hurry. Hey, 2-minute situation, 44 seconds, hand the ball around. Gonna do it right. 3 jet Buckeye, don't worry.
The 2-minute drill starts now.
With 3 wins and 6 losses so far in the season, the Ners are not off to a hot start. Shawn, is there any hope left?
There's always hope, but
That was perfect.
there's always hope, but that sums up my Mariners fandom.
Well,
Good night, everybody.
let's talk a little bit about the Ners.
Yeah.
Do you object to the Ners? Daniel hates it.
I don't mind it. No, it's weird that it did just kind of start a couple of years ago. I feel like.
I got it from Joe Fan.
Oh, interesting. Is that
He was advocating it on the Brock and Salk show a few years ago. And I was like, this annoys Daniel, and I love it.
I've always called them the M's, and so
Yeah.
I grew up calling them the M's, and so we'll probably always call them the M's. But
Daniel hates it because it reminds him of the Niners.
Oh.
I don't think that at all. Like it doesn't have any connotation to that. Interesting. I mean, I could see that. But.
I write it into the show on a regular basis because Daniel hates it. And I know what you're thinking. That doesn't sound like me to just try to intentionally antagonize people.
No.
But I do that.
Why would you? I can't believe it.
Yeah.
That is so shocking to me. I am shocked and chagrined.
I do kind of want your thoughts on baseball season, though, because no matter what, even though I feel like we kind of all knew what was going on going into this season, which is that the Mariners didn't spend the money. We don't need to relitigate the fact that they did a complete rebuild. They successfully did the rebuild and then didn't do the final part of the rebuild, which is go spend money to bring in guys to play with the prospects.
Yeah.
So going into this season, some people who care still seemed to think like, oh, maybe this team can do something.
No, I agree, but exactly, they did not do the part. So the Mariners, I don't think, there's probably many, many reasons, but they seem to not even know what they're bad at. Like that is. I can't understand any other way to be doing what they've been doing for 10 years and just fail again and again and again. And the folks that thought they were going to be good, I think were buying into, Mitch Garver could have a bounce back year. Maybe Julio will be Julio from, his rookie season when he was just tore it up. And the other pieces are going to, bounce back and be better. Luke Raley and Rosarina. And at some point you just have to realize that they sign marginally good bats that are past their prime and bank on them having comeback years, and that just doesn't ever work. And it's like
years in the hardest.
It's remarkable.
Park in the league too.
Yeah, and it is, and I don't want to discount that Safeco or T-Mobile. I've just will always call it Safeco. I think
I'm with you on that.
But is a difficult place. But the A's sure did score okay at T-Mobile this week when it was cold and wet and damp and the marine layer was as thick as mayonnaise, and the Tigers didn't have any real problem. And so at some point you just got to realize, okay, our bats just aren't very good. And Julio is paid to be a superstar, and he's not. Let's be clear on that. Like Julio is at this point, he is showing himself to be a good player, not a transcendent player. And he was in that same category his rookie year as like him and Bobby Witt Jr. And that is not who he has shown himself to be. And he's paid to be that, and maybe he'll return back to that, but he gets fooled on sliders like no one I have ever seen. And it's the same thing. Like you can write the script for every at bat, and it's just like, and it is like the worst movie you've ever seen. It's so predictable because that's what's going to happen. And then every once in a while, maybe more than every once in a while, like he's still a good player. He was like what, a 4-WAR player last year. I mean, he's a good player. Let's be clear, but he is not 450 million, 12 years good. And that's what we were expecting for him. And Cal Raleigh is who Cal Raleigh is. Like, he is going to mash the ball, and he, he's going to get hot in streaks. Like he's going to hit them in bunches, and then he's going to hardly make contact. And that's who he is, and that's fine. That's everyone's full.
And he's a catcher.
He's also a really good catcher.
He's a very, very good catcher. And his trajectory, other than batting average, is possibly is one of the all-time greats. Like his comps are like not
as far as production.
Yes. And being a good catch. I mean, he's like Johnny Bench, Mike Piazza, other than batting average. Okay. So that's great. So you signed him for $105 million and for 5 years or 6 years, 6 years. I can't remember. And that's fine. You know what you're going to get. And that's what we're expecting from him. And I just don't know that they there's so many things that swarm into my mind when I think of this, as you guys know who follow me on Twitter, or X as the kids are calling it now, that I'm a pretty brutal Mariners tweetist.
I like the word tweetist.
Tweetist, yes. And I tag them and everything, and I don't know that they actually understand that they're not good at offense. Like I said, that sounds ridiculous, but I don't know that they understand that. I don't know that Jerry DiPoto understands what offense is. Like I don't know that he understands how to evaluate offense. He is probably the best pitching developer in Major League Baseball, and maybe the worst offensive developer in Major League Baseball. It's quite the dichotomy.
I honestly feel like I'm sitting across from Daniel Hargrove because so many of the things you're saying, especially when you talk about Julio, the fact that he's paid like a superstar and he's just a good player, it's a lot of the same stuff Daniel says. He actually just last week was lamenting the fact that we can't appreciate Julio as a good player because he's been tabbed as the superstar, and he's actually good. And if he hadn't been labeled as like Bobby Witt Jr., which is, again, that's the parallel that Daniel has made. Yeah. If he hadn't been labeled as Bobby Witt Jr., we could just appreciate him for what he is. But right now, he's just annoying because he's just a good player. And in full disclosure, that's not all the Mariners' fault, because Major League Baseball was trying to sell him as the new face of Major League Baseball. And he had all the hallmarks of being marketable, and folks were literally throwing these ridiculous things out, like this could be, Ken Griffey Jr. 2.0, like he's that good, like he's just he is just that good.
Yeah. Well, he's had peaks that were
his peaks
incredibly high.
Yes. Even last September.
Like that's what people were. He showed those peaks, and people wanted or expected some consistency, but behind it.
Yeah, I think that was the development angle that people were looking at, was are you gonna get the Julio he proved? Because there was literally a record-breaking month he had. I don't remember which one it was, but there was where stats were coming out every day. Like, Julio's the only person in Major League history who has ever done this over the course of a period of games.
Right. He had that week where he had I'm going to make numbers up, but it was something like 25 hits in 32 at-bats.
Yeah, he was going 3 for 4 every game.
Every game, 4 for 4, 3 for 4, 2 home runs. I mean, and he shows that. And again, it's unreasonable to think that he's going to perform like that every game.
But he shouldn't start 0-12 with 8 strikeouts.
Exactly. I mean, he does have a home run today, whatever time it is. but just a little bit of consistency and, the ability to carry a team would be great. It's really frustrating because we do have this, unbelievable starting pitching staff. And I mean, I don't know. Is Logan Gilbert going to sign here again? Because Logan Gilbert's really, really good, and he's going to get paid. Like that kid is going to be rich.
What do you think about Cal Raleigh signing long term and how much that helps for Gilbert?
So, I think that it's a good. I think it helps. I mean, they're best buddies, and so I think that it can only help. But if Logan doesn't think he's going to be able to win and he gets run support like Felix Hernandez got run support, which means not at all. Yeah. I mean, that's got to be super frustrating to go out there every fifth day. And it's like, I have got to, throw a shutout or give up one run to keep this team in the game. Like, that's where he is at. And
Felix is like, we've got a club.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, I mean, I tweet that out. Well, he got Felix Hernandez again. And so, and it's it's really fun to watch that guy pitch, but I don't know if he's going to want to stick around. And to be honest, I don't know that any team other than the Dodgers and the Yankees can afford to pay all five of those guys, and they're all going to be coming up about the same time. I think Logan's got 2 or 3 more years maybe of arbitration left, and Kirby's really good.
Is he like a year behind Kirby? Or
Kirby I think so, a year behind, and maybe Woo's a year behind, and Miller. I actually think like Miller, Woo, and Kirby are maybe all in the same, and then Castillo's, we've got him for 4 more years, I think. But yeah, it is frustrating. And what's even more frustrating though is that the Mariners, the management gaslights their fans. They're like there's absolute quotes from Jerry Dipoto like, well, I don't think people understand just how good our offense is. Like, what is there to understand?
Not good enough.
Well, don't worry. They have Mike Salk there to support them and back them up.
Tell me what they do well. Like tell me. People are like, well, the last month of the year last year, it's like 1 month out of the last 10 years. Can you tell me one thing that the Mariners do well with the bat? No.
Need to get that torpedo bat.
Yeah.
If guys are bad at hitting the ball, the torpedo bat makes them better. So.
Yeah. I mean, but they strike out more than any other team in like the history of baseball.
No.
So.
Strikeouts are okay.
Strikeouts are.
But you do have to hit the ball for the torpedo bat to work.
Yes, the torpedo bat does need some of that hand-eye coordination.
Yeah.
It is.
This is something I've said before, but something that drives me nuts is how people talk about strikeouts as a good thing for pitchers and an insignificant thing for batters. And it has to be one of those, not both.
Yeah, no. And strikeouts, when you need to move runners over, like strikeouts don't help with that.
Yeah.
And I text some of my buddies and they could have 0 outs and runners on second and third. And it's like, what are the odds here that we don't score at all?
Yeah.
Pretty high.
Yeah.
And honestly, it happens a lot. And it is so frustrating. And then not only that, it's so frustrating to be told by the team, well, what you're actually seeing is not what you're seeing. Like, no, you just don't understand what's going on here. And
actually,
it's like,
should be grateful.
Yeah. You should be grateful.
Hey, we're going to win 54% of our games and you're going to like it.
Hey, 54% I'd take right now.
Yeah. Good point.
We're at 33% right now, I think.
Yeah. Well,
So-
I would like to hearken back to a better time of baseball, a better era of baseball. So I think we're going to move on to my favorite part of the show.
Yeah?
Serving questions up on a silver platter where the points are made up and the rules don't matter. Time for Stump
Shawn. We're going to stump Shawn today with baseball trivia from the golden era of baseball, which is from 1990 to 2005.
Okay. All right.
Shawn, You know War. This is Andrew. If it's we get into this sometimes because Daniel and Andrew pay much more attention to like nerd stats than I do. If it's from Baseball Reference, is it our War? Andrew?
I think so.
Okay. So this is War
Uh-huh.
from Baseball Reference. What is it good for? War. Sorry, that was a war joke.
Yeah, that's pretty funny.
Absolutely. Okay. Yeah. Never mind. That joke flopped. I'm going to move on.
Actually, I thought now that you explained it, it was actually a really good joke. I just not that fast.
I watched Rush Hour last week.
Yeah.
And so I've got Jackie Chan in my mind going, "Whoa, hoo, yeah." Anyway, Shawn, I almost called you Daniel.
Yeah, Daniel has not had a compliment like that for a very long time.
I went and dug through the top 100 war seasons.
Yeah.
From I looked through all of them. And I picked out all the ones that happened between 1990 and 2005.
Okay.
So I'm going to give you the year and the team and the war, and you're going to give me the player.
Okay. Interesting.
There's a bunch of gimmies here.
Okay.
I've got 15 total.
Yeah.
I think the way we score these things is in zones.
Okay.
So I think you got to get at least 8 or you're in the duck zone.
Okay. That's a lot of pressure.
What's the kind of neutral zone for you? Like, what's something you feel kind of medium about?
Cougars.
Okay, so if you get,
That's fair.
let's say 9 to 11, you're in the Coug zone. If
Okay.
you get 12 or more, we'll give you Husky zone.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
First one, 1990, Oakland Athletics, 9.9 war.
90 Oakland Athletics.
And I'm going in chronological order, so this is the earliest one, and we're going to go through 2000.
I got to say that's Ricky Henderson.
That is correct. It is Ricky Henderson, Oakland Athletics, 9.9 war. Okay, also in 1990, Pittsburgh Pirates, 9.7 war.
Barry Bonds.
That is correct. I thought it might throw you off that he's not on the Giants yet, but you got that really easily. 1991, Baltimore Orioles, 11.5, which is crazy.
That's a crazy
That's like a top 3 all time.
I mean, it's got to be Cal Ripken Jr.
It is Cal Ripken Jr. You're 3 for 3. 1996, San Francisco Giants, 9.7.
Ooh, 96 San Francisco. Oh, that's got to be Barry.
It is Barry Bonds.
Yeah.
I think it was 94 when he went to the Giants.
Yeah. I think I actually saw Barry Bonds play in Candlestick, I think his first year.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, Shawn, you're 4 for 4, and you got a couple that I thought would be a little tricky, so you're doing really well so far.
All right, I'm feeling good.
In 1996, the Mariners had 2 guys with a WAR over 9.
Yeah, Alex Rodriguez and Ken Griffey Jr.
That is correct.
Alex Rodriguez was robbed of the MVP that year. He was so good.
That Junior actually had a higher WAR that year. He had 9.7 compared to 9.4 for A-Rod.
Oh, interesting. I did not know that.
But yeah, that was the 2. So you're 6 for 6.
And to have 2 9-war players and not make it to the World Series,
Insane.
Interesting conversation, side conversation. Like wait for Daniel to come back. Is what team wasted the most talent in the history of sports? Late 90s Seattle Mariners. It's not even close.
We've actually had this conversation.
Oh, okay.
I love that topic though. Like that's a really fun conversation.
I again feel like I'm talking to Daniel Hargrove because you guys have so many of the same gripes. It's insane.
9 war seasons are Hall of Famers. Yeah. I mean, it's just like, yeah. Anyway, go ahead.
1997, Colorado Rockies, 9.8.
Oh, golly. I'm going to say Larry Walker.
You spat that out so fast, and it is correct. Larry Walker. You are undefeated so far. Also in 1997, Houston Astros Craig Biggio. Houston Astros. Rewind. Houston Astros 9.4. Who's the player?
I'm going to go out on
It's not Jeff Bagwell.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say it was Craig Biggio. And honestly, that would have been the one I 100% would have not gotten.
You would have guessed Bagwell.
I would have guessed Bagwell or Jeff Kent actually,
Justin
but
has been stumped.
That was the one that I was going to get you with. 2000 Seattle Mariners.
how many more
10.4
in 2000?
Yeah.
It's got to be Alex Rodriguez.
It is Alex Rodriguez. You're still undefeated because I gave you that one. Gosh darn it, I messed that up so bad. Okay. 2001, San Francisco Giants, 11.9.
That would be Mr. Barry Bonds.
Also in 2001, Chicago Cubs, 10.3.
Oh, that's an interesting question. The Cubs in 2001, 10.3. I'm Sammy Sosa.
It is Sammy Sosa.
Okay.
Yeah, a little bit past the home run prime.
Yeah.
But still really good.
Still raking.
2002, San Francisco Giants, 11.7.
Barry Bonds.
2004, San Francisco Giants, 10.6.
I guess it's got to be Barry Bonds.
It's Barry Bonds. 2004, your Los Angeles Dodgers, 9.6.
In 04? Oh, that's a... Golly, who would have been in 04 with the Dodgers? Shawn Green.
That's a good guess, but it is not correct.
Who is it?
It was, in fact, former Seattle Mariner Adrian Beltre.
Oh, yeah. He had some monster seasons.
And your last one, you're already in the Husky zone, so you've
Okay.
already succeeded.
All
But
right.
Just as a little extra credit, 2005 New York Yankees, 9.4.
2005 Yankees, 9.4. I'm going to say Jeter, but I'm guessing it. I'm going to say Jeter, but I'm guessing it's not right.
You went with the gamble because you wanted it to be Jeter, but it's actually A-Rod.
Okay.
And I think you knew that kind of deep down inside.
I was drawing a blank there. I went with
Okay.
Jeter because I was thinking that he had two really, I think it was just two really good seasons. And I think that Jeter's one of the more overrated players. That does not mean he's bad. Like Derek Jeter's very good. But I was thinking, okay, go against your thinking of overrated Jeter.
Yeah, and I think also because this would be A-Rod's probably second year as a Yankee, because I think he had 3 years in Texas, and he was really good there, but
Yeah.
he never had a WAR over 9, which is that's such a weird random bar to set.
Yeah.
I think he had an 8.8, 8.6, and 8.4 or something, but none of the A-Rod Rangers years made this list. But there's a lot of A-Rod, a lot of Barry Bonds on this list. And
Yeah.
you did really well, so congratulations.
Well, thank you. The guy who's in that conversation now is you look at Mike Trout WAR is insane.
That's-
he's so good.
If I had kept going, it would have been. There's a lot of
Yeah.
Mike Trout on that list. So.
Yeah.
But I didn't keep going past 2005
Mookie
because that's
Betts.
about when I stopped paying attention really closely to baseball.
Yeah.
But that's going to conclude Stump Shawn, and I think that's going to wrap up our show.
All right.
Shawn won.
Yeah, Shawn won.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and also somehow also Daniel lost and I lost by Shawn having such a good performance. But I think that's going to do it for our show today.
Thanks for having me.
I am Justin Domashevitz.
And I'm Shawn O'Neill.
And our trusty producer, Andrew Gross. No nicknames this week. Just straight guys talking about baseball and hating Duke and Oregon. That's been our show.